99.9 Punk World Radio FM. You already know what time it is. And right here, we are joined by a phenomenal punk band. We got Love Side RX right here, live on the radio, and of course, YouTube as well. How are you guys doing tonight?
Absolutely wonderful.
Doing great, man.
So I'm good.
I got to say, I'm glad to see you guys are doing good. I got to say, I love what you guys are doing in the pop punk, the punk industry currently. I know you guys have released a gang of amazing singles, and it's crazy to see the amount of stuff you guys are doing so early on. If I'm not mistaken, you guys started just last year, and you have so many opportunities coming your way. You guys are exactly what punk rock is, man. So I'm so glad to have you here tonight. And I just want to give you your flowers and your kudos while I have you here and just say, keep doing what you guys are doing because you guys are a totally killer band.
Thanks so much, dude.
Thank you so much.
But I got to take you back to the beginning of Love Side and just ask, what is the story behind this band? Like, what actually made you guys all decide to come together to form this totally killer band?
Oh, it's been a labor of love for myself for about probably close to 2 years in the making. And I was doing some other projects and was kind of busy with a tour and different things. And then finally, when I got back off the road last June, it was kind of like, okay, it's go time. And I'd had a lot of the songs written and kind of at that point started forming the band and brought all the guys in, brought Ryan in, and it was go time. Like I said, we released the first single in December of last year. So hit the ground running.
And I got to say, you guys definitely hit the ground running, and you have not stopped at all. You guys have been running nonstop, Forrest Gump type style. I mean, you guys aren't stopping at all, dude, and I'm loving it. And before we actually get into the new single, the one thing I have to ask, because I know this is a cliche kind of question, but you guys have such a very unique band name. You know, I've seen bands that actually have the exact same name. They just break the name in half or add an exclamation point to it or something like that. But you guys have a very unique name. Love Side RX. Like, how did you guys actually come up with that name?
Yeah, Scott came up with that one.
So I was in the Marine Corps. So I had a friend in the Marine Corps who used to talk about always looking at everything through like the lens of love and through like the eyes of love, and like basically look at the love side of. And if you look at things in that way, you kind of have a different perspective on where people might be coming from. And basically, it took that whole idea and added the RX to the end, which in I believe it's Latin means. So the idea being, if you look at things that way, that's kind of the remedy to, a successful life. So it's kind of, I don't know. I thought it sounded good. Let's go with that one.
Well, it definitely does sound good. And also, too, thank you so much for your service. I know I'm down here in Canada, but the things you do out in the States as well also affect our freedom in Canada as well. Because I feel if someone was to take over the States, they'd definitely be coming for Canada as well. So thank you so much for your service and for fighting for all our freedoms, man. So thank you for that.
Absolutely, man. My pleasure.
But speaking of that amazing single, before we actually get into that, the one thing I do have to say is obviously you went from the Marine Corps all the way into like punk rock. I mean, you totally took a complete 360 when it comes to career change. And I have to ask, like, was it difficult for you to actually kind of like go from the Marine Corps into punk rock? Like, what actually kind of like launched all that, if you don't mind me asking?
So honestly, it was more so I was there already prior. Like a lot of the bands I was in was whatever favorite Green Day covers, just a lot of that. And then lifestyle wise, I just needed to get my stuff together, to be honest. And it was kind of the best option for me at the time. So it was like, okay, time to kind of grow up a little bit, and did that. And then, once I was in, of course, that side of me never left. And it was just a matter of, I was playing in bands when I was in Japan. I was playing in bands, so I was still doing what I could when I was in. And then, once it was out, it was like I said, it was go time. It was just trying to find the right group of guys and find the right avenue. And I love all genres of music, honestly. So I love dabbling and writing and all kinds of different things. So it wasn't hard to transition from that because I feel like it's me. It's just who I am. So it never left me, so it was there. No matter what I'm doing, it's there,
And when you say you were actually like in bands and whatnot when you're in the Corps, was it difficult to actually be a part of those bands while you're actually in the Marine Corps? Because I mean, at any time they could deploy you.
Yeah. So a lot of them were guys that were with me, you know, so you end up playing with guys that are going to be doing the same thing you are. And it's kind of hit or miss. And then, you know, when I was in Japan, there was actually a lot of local people, American people there that lived there. So, you know, we had hit up with those guys and there was some really good bands over there at the time. And you know, so it made it difficult, honestly, to focus on it and really take it serious. It was more or less something I just love, and so when I had the opportunity, it was definitely what I was going to do. It You know, so I guess I understood when I signed up what I signed up for, kind of thing. So that was my commitment, that was my priority. But basically, let that fill in and get that side of me out whenever I could.
And when you played in those bands, I'm just gonna say I'm picturing right now the most well behaved mosh pits. Just because you have like a band of all trained like Marines, I could just picture someone like not wanting to fuck around because they're gonna find out.
Yeah, pretty. Sometimes it was us. You know, they always say, you know, we work to play hard, and that was kind of the way we went with it. So there was plenty of times where you know, some fights and some craziness went on, but it was a good time.
And also, December 27th, a few days after Christmas this past year, you guys actually released a single titled Rear View that was actually your debut single that you briefly mentioned at the beginning of the interview. But I was wondering if you can actually just tell us the story and inspiration behind this phenomenal song.
Yeah. So when I sat down with that and I wrote the guitar part first, and you know, I always like to kind of let the guitar and let the music kind of dictate what the song is about. And as I, you know, started writing, the first things that was coming back was those feel good times and feel good of looking back at, you know, the stuff that we used to do that now maybe we feel like we don't have time. You know, like you said, you go to the Marine Corps or you do whatever it is in your life, you have a child or anything like that, you know, you start, you know, going down those roads of like being more responsible in a way. But it's like, I think the song was kind of written about, you know, just not forgetting where you came from, and at the same time, like taking time to blow off steam and do the things we used to do and party like we used to do and hang out with our friends like we used to do, and not getting so lost in the crazy world we live in, and remembering to just enjoy it.
Yeah,
and I got to say
that resonated with me too, because that was kind of my introduction to the band. Also, was hearing Rear View for the first time, seeing the music video they'd done, because they had a different drummer in that video at the time. So it was pretty cool stuff to see that all already fully formed.
And Ryan, when you just mentioned that you actually joined the band after, like, you know, obviously after Rear View, was it difficult actually kind of taking the reins? I do know it was only one song that was created prior to you joining the band, but was it difficult for you kind of trying to pick up the reins and actually, you know, learn Rear View and whatnot, or did it all just come naturally to you?
Oh no, dude, Rear View is tough. Rear View is tough, and the instrumentation of it's cool too, dude. Because I know when it comes to punk drummers, pop punk drummers, we like to add lots of different sounds, I guess, looking for splash cymbals and stuff like that. Lots of different kinds of cymbals and snare drums and stuff. And so like that song has some splash hits in it that are really cool, and lots of bell hits and stuff. So yeah, it's an interesting tune. It was hard to learn for sure when I first heard it.
The goal the whole time was try to make the drummer like have to suffer through the entire set. I think we accomplished it.
Yeah.
But he's still here, and honestly, I think it's like 4 or 5 more singles later, and you're still here, Ryan. So it looks like the suffering turned actually into bliss. So I'm glad to see you're still doing it, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
You definitely leaned into the love side of things. But with that being said, on May 16th, aside from singles, you guys also had an amazing opportunity to open up for a legendary band, Alien Ant Farm, at the Manchester Music Hall in Lexington, Kentucky. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us a bit more about this amazing show, because I've seen you guys take a picture with the event flyer, and I mean, it's Alien Ant Farm. You really cannot go wrong with Alien Ant Farm. I mean, there's really no easy way to put it. I mean, it's Alien Ant Farm, dude.
Right. Yeah, I was stoked when we got the call to play that show. I mean, yeah, like you said, those guys are legends, and it was a no-brainer. Like, oh yeah, we're in, and it's like I don't even care about money. I don't care. I'm in. I just want to, it sounded like an amazing time. So yeah, the show was amazing. Those guys were amazing, professional through and through. Very, very good dudes, and crowd was amazing. It was just an absolutely fantastic night for us as a band. I think it really kind of solidified a lot of what we had going on already. And for me, it was an amazing, amazing time. I'll let Ryan speak on it, but that's how I felt.
Oh yeah, dude, absolutely. That the venue was Manchester Music Hall over in Lexington, Kentucky too, which I've lived in Lexington. Really, I've lived around Lexington almost my whole life. But the last 5 years or so, I was living in the actual city. So I'd always heard of the venue. I'd seen some shows there and stuff. One of my favorite shows, dude, Ginger was there from Ukraine. Awesome band. So it was inspiring to, play that room after I'd seen like so many cool shows there, lived in the city, heard so many good things about it. And then suddenly we're opening for a great band. I mean, it was awesome. So.
Did you guys get a chance to kick it with any of the members of Alien Ant Farm before or after performance? I do know sometimes of those shows backstage, you can kind of bump into people, or sometimes they come out of their dressing room and they kick it with the opening acts. Like, did you guys get a chance to associate with them at all?
Yeah, they were really cool. It's kind of, you got to feel your way into each situation. I've kind of learned through the years, and you want to be respectful and give them their space and that kind of thing. But they, prior to the show were real cool, just kind of, small talk and whatnot. After the show, though, I had a chance to really kind of talk to them a little bit more and share some war stories kind of thing, and talk about where they were headed and where we were going, and just different things like that. And all of them, like I said, super, super good dudes, really nice, took the time to, they treated us very well. And, kind of and crazy, I thought the styles were so good together. They meshed so well. They're definitely not necessarily like a punk band or anything, but the style meshed really well. And I think it was a good show for the audience. A little bit, same, but, different vibe from each performer. So the show was absolutely great. They were great. I can't say enough good things about them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And before we move on off the topic of Alien Ant Farm, the only thing I have to say, man, is I think they're the only band that actually cover a Michael Jackson song and actually make that song become bigger than Michael Jackson's version. I mean, bigger and better, you know what I mean? And that hurts, because I will admit, I like Michael Jackson's music, all right? I mean, I don't sit there and like love it like I do punk rock, but I mean, if I hear Michael Jackson on the radio, I'm definitely I will secretly turn it up a little bit and do a little, but I mean, they made Smooth Criminal so much better, dude.
Man, you hit the nail on the head there. I mean, like, it's crazy because, if you really listen to Michael Jackson's stuff, he was incredible with a lot of the way he pioneered some of it, and just, his everything about what he did was good. Personal things aside and whatnot, as far as what he did in music was really amazing. And for those guys to come in, and I remember the first time I heard, Smooth Criminal, it was like, wow, like, absolute, like you said, to me, made the song better. That's just the rock side of me too. Hearing it a little heavier or just a little cooler. I remember everything from the bass lines to the drum fills, everything just being like, man, that's really dope. And those guys nailed.
I agree, man. I think it's just the rocker in me, dude, because there's times that I'll hear Michael Jackson's like version on the radio, and I'll turn off the radio and open up Amazon Music and just play the Alien Ant Farm version, because I'm like, I can't do this. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah. Then you start dancing, next thing you know.
Do a little spin with like the moonwalk and the ball grab and go, and you're like, oh, damn.
Absolutely.
But also, June 6, 2025, you guys actually released your most recent single titled Over It. And I have to say, I know this song is called Over It, but I'm definitely not over it, because this song is absolutely amazing. What is the story behind this song? And of course, where can we buy or stream ourselves a copy of this single today?
Of course, it's everywhere. So anywhere you get music, it's there. We are going to do some vinyl presses once we get everything together. So there is going to be vinyl available. We'll sell on our website. So that if you want a physical copy of something anymore, that's the only way. CDs, cassettes, that kind of stuff is obviously out. Vinyl's kind of where it's at. If you want to, I know personally for myself, it's like you want that connection. So I will do that. But other than that, kind of where the song come from, basically I quit my job. And that's kind of where the story started.
And I gotta say, it's such a phenomenal song, man. I thoroughly enjoy it. But I do know from December 24th, right up to last month, you guys have released a total of 5 singles. And I do know they're all together in a very short span. So the one thing I have to ask, do you guys have plans for a full-length album? Or do you plan on sticking on the single train? And if an album is in the works, what can we expect from it?
So it's funny. We actually do have enough material for a full-length album. Everybody we talk to, though, is basically telling us, don't do that. I hate that because I come from, like, I really love the idea of getting that album, doing that. So they're saying basically, no, do singles, then combine it when it's all done, and then sell it as an album. So I think the plan for right now is going to be continue to just crank out singles every 6 to 8 weeks. And we've already got, that's kind of what we've been doing and spending the time getting those together and crafting those. So we've got plenty of songs ready to go through the rest of this year. Actually, the ones I'm most excited about are the ones that aren't even out yet. So I'm super excited about getting those out.
Oh, me too, dude. And it's getting heavier too, which I love. I mean, the style is shifting a little bit more in the more recent ones that we've done towards just really making like that like push pit, like mosh crowd thing happen. I think it's gonna be really cool to play them live once we're ready to do that. So,
for sure.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
But also as well, what is next for Love Side RX? I know we talked about the Alien Ant Farm. We obviously talked about your amazing singles and but what is next for you guys? Any more shows? Any more records, singles? What is next for you guys? Because I know you guys got a lot in the tank.
So there's a few shows that haven't been announced yet. They've contracts been signed, that kind of thing, and they're going to announce those. I think one's going to announce next week. And then we're actually working on some tour ideas. We're a DIY band, so we're trying to deal with booking agents, deal with publicists, kind of go through the whole process. And so we're hoping we've got a couple of possibilities for January, February tour. So we're looking at that, and then, like I said, other than that, it'll be one-off single shows, a few which will be announced soon, and then we've got some more hopefully in the works that'll come up through the rest of this year. Don't think we'll get out on tour or on the road anytime. Doesn't look like it this year, unfortunately. But we do have a lot of music coming, so we're going to focus on kind of building the name and getting the songs out, the music videos, and really pushing that through this year. That way, come January, we're ready to get out there and start seeing all our fans and face to face and meeting them and hanging out with them, which is what we love to do. So that's kind of where we're at right now, and I think our next 6 months, that's what we're looking at.
And I gotta say, I really hope to see you guys in Canada someday soon, because I think
Absolutely.
Love Side RX would definitely be a phenomenal addition just to the punk rock community here in Canada, man. I know Montreal would absolutely eat your guys' music up.
Oh, thank you, man. I definitely hope to make that happen.
Yeah.
Ryan, you up for a Canada trip?
Oh, dude, absolutely. I'll do it.
It's funny,
but guys, before we actually part ways here tonight, I know you're very busy individuals, but how do we go about following Love Side RX across all social media platforms? Because, like I mentioned, you're busy. You guys are putting in work, single after single, show after show. Where can your fans, if they're not already following you, keep up to date on all the amazing stuff you guys are doing within the pop punk community?
Ryan, take it away.
No, I got you, dude. Yeah, we have an Instagram, Love Side RX, I believe. We've got a Facebook, we have a TikTok. Big thing, though, is we have a website, lovesidrx.com. You could just find everything there, pretty much. All the music videos we've done so far, the YouTube channel, and all the social links are there. So, yeah, you can check that out, lovesidrx.com. That's pretty much the central hub right now for everything. So.
And I gotta say, first and foremost, thank you both for giving not only myself, but the radio station airways a bit of your time. I absolutely love what you guys are doing within the punk rock community. I can't wait to hear the new music when it does get created and released to the general public. Looking forward to just following you guys for the rest of the band's span and just seeing everything you guys do, because I know you guys are literally very close to being on your way to the very top, and I can't wait to see
Thanks
it
so much.
and see you guys flourish, man. So thank you guys so much for your time. Hopefully down the line we can make this happen again, but for now, have yourselves a phenomenal night out there.
And thanks so much for having us on. We really appreciate the support and all the kind words. We really do appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.
Hey, you're most certainly welcome, guys. Have yourselves a phenomenal night.
All right, man. Take care. Thank you.